Welcome back, Raider Nation, to the Raider D podcast. Hope everybody is having a great Friday morning. Here is a cup of coffee for you. That's the good stuff right there. So, I don't know how many of you actually wasted your life away last night watching 3/4 of the Hall of Fame game between the Houston Texans and the Chicago Bears. I certainly did not. I did, however, go back and watch some of the highlights, if you want to call them that. There was some good plays by all backups, no starters on either team, no sign whatsoever of a Caleb Williams, which is pretty interesting. I don't see why the Bears would not want to get him out there. But he certainly needed to be out there. I think that he needs all of the NFL reps that he possibly could get. Duck's House says, sorry, I don't give out free food to AOC fans. Yeah, okay. I don't need your free food, but thanks for whatever that comment is supposed to be. Anyway, back to the Hall of Fame game. It was a highlight of the NFL's new kickoff rule. Well, because let's face it, the NFL's kickoff has been abysmal for far too long. Once they changed the rule to protect players from serious injuries that the kickoffs were doing. And also, here's one of the reasons why I think they use, and now I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist, so I'm going to jump into my tinfoil hat mode right now. I don't believe that the NFL changed the kickoff rule years back to protect players. Now, bear with me. Here's why I believe that they actually changed it. Too many games were being decided by poor coverage and guys running 100 yards back for touchdowns and deciding games, which the NFL did not like. While it is exciting for the fans and creates highlight reels, it's hard for the NFL to control the outcomes of games and put teams in positions to run for a playoff run and a Super Bowl run that they deem are more TV worthy. Thus, teams that they don't want in the playoffs, teams that they don't want in the Super Bowl, had a chance that the NFL could not control. And this is exactly why the NFL changed the kickoff, to eliminate the chance of anybody running back a kickoff for a touchdown and changing the outcome of a game that the NFL had already prescripted to be in favor of their favorite team at the time, like i.e. the Patriots or the Kansas City Chiefs. Teams that are going to draw in a lot of TV views. Well, after a decade plus of abysmal ratings with the kickoffs and people literally not watching the kickoffs and switching over to YouTube to watch a video for a couple of minutes rather than watching a kickoff, the NFL decided that they had to bring back a little bit of excitement. And so they made a change to the NFL kickoff for this year. And I watched it in the Hall of Fame game last night in real life. Abysmal. It is stupid. I don't like it. It is not entertaining. It is not exciting. It is basically guaranteeing that while there's going to be a lot less balls being kicked out of the end zone, you're not going to see any action. Because the way that they designed it, there's no way, there's no depth between the guy receiving the ball and the defenders trying to tackle him. They are there the second he touches the ball. You've got 11 guys right there ready to tackle you. So a big 2 thumbs down to the NFL for this new rule. I think it's absolutely stupid. It's not going to be fun. And to be honest, I wish the NFL would just go back to the way it used to be. It was exciting. It was fun. You never knew what was going to happen. And they need to return to it, just like I need to return to this cup of coffee. Now, today's show, this is obviously a Raiders podcast. This is the Raider D podcast here on YouTube and Facebook as we stream over there on the Silver and Black Nation Facebook group, which is the best Raiders group with 80,000 strong. We are the official podcast over there as well, and I am one of the administrators. Hats off to the founders and all the mods and admins over there. We do a fantastic job. It is an honor and a privilege to be a part of such a great Facebook group. If you guys have not gone over and joined the Facebook group, let me just throw up the QR code here for you. You can scan the QR code or click on the link. Both of them are available for you right now. Go and check us out over there on the Facebook group. Help us get to 100,000 members. Now remember, this is only for Raiders fans. If you're a scam artist or a Chiefs fan, our moderators will find you out very quickly and you will be banned. Now, moving back into the topic at hand, I really want to see the Raiders quarterback competition get resolved quickly. I want to see who's going to be QB1, and I want them to get the majority of the reps. I want them to get all the first-team reps. I don't like the fact that the Raiders are splitting practices. I don't think that's a healthy way of doing it because the NFL is an extraordinarily competitive league. Your quarterback needs to be on time, on target, every time. And so we're going to get into the three teams today who have a true quarterback competition and who I believe is going to be the QB1 for each one of these three NFL teams. Now, there are other teams like the Washington Commanders with Jaden Daniels. You got Minnesota with a rookie. You have, obviously, Chicago with a rookie. There's no competition there. The rookies will either be day one starters or by week 4, they will be the starter. The plan is that they will be the starters. What I'm talking about is the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Denver Broncos, and the Las Vegas Raiders. All three of these teams have a true quarterback competition on their hands. Like my competition between talking to you and my desire to take another sip of coffee. And the coffee wins. Gotta love a good cup of Joe in the morning. Okay, let's start out with the Pittsburgh Steelers to begin with. Now, they got a guy named Russell Wilson who has a Super Bowl ring. He's a veteran quarterback. And they got another kid who is younger version, taller, better looking guy than Russell Wilson. And they're both athletic quarterbacks. Now, when it comes down to it, I want to show some stats here. So I'm going to pull this up. Let me try and pull this up here real quick. No, that's not it. Let me find this. I should have had this tab pulled up earlier. My apologies, guys. Okay, so let's start out with Justin Fields. He's the younger, taller, more athletic, better-looking version of Russell Wilson. His rookie year in 2021, he had 1,870 yards, 7 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Granted, that this isn't including his rushing touchdowns. So let's touch on his rushing touchdowns. So he had 657 rushing yard. 420 rushing yards. $72 carries. 5.8 yards per carry and 2 touchdowns. In 2022, he had an incredible 1,143 rushing yards, 7.1 yards per carry, 8 rushing touchdowns. He also had 9 fumbles, but no lost fumbles. So he fumbled the ball, but the Bears were able to get it back. In 2023, he focused more on passing the ball, increasing his pass attempts to 370 from 270 his rookie year. So he only had 657 rushing yards, 4 touchdowns, still had 3 fumbles. So the kid fumbles the ball a lot. Fortunately for the Bears, he didn't lose the ball. He fumbled it, but they were able to recover it. Now he gets moved on to Pittsburgh, and he is in a competition against Russell Wilson. Okay, so Russell Wilson is a veteran quarterback. And let me pull his stats up again. He has a Super Bowl ring, had a fantastic career with Seattle, and then he gets moved on from the Broncos, which was an absolute failure. His passing, the guy's been in the league since 2012. He has multiple years of 4,000 plus yards passing. Rushing, he's never had 1,000 yards on the ground, but pretty close in 2014 where he had 849. As he's gotten older, that has significantly decreased, but he still has over 5,307 rushing yards. So he is a dual threat quarterback, just not nearly as much of a mobile guy. He's not going to go and break off big running yards anymore as he is getting older now, been in the league for over 10 years. But last season, he had a pretty decent season. In 2022 with the Broncos, he had 3,524 yards. Not bad. A little bit of a regression last year with only 3,070 yards. A lot of contention between him and Sean Payton, the head coach of Denver. They move on from him for nothing. And the Pittsburgh Steelers pick him up. So now you have the Pittsburgh Steelers in a true quarterback competition. And that competition is going to decide who their starting quarterback is going to be long term. And let me turn off the starting soon because we have already started. My opinion is this. You went and got Russell Wilson because he has the experience and he has better arm talent and understanding of defenses than Justin. Justin Fields, however, has a higher upside if he can become a smarter, better quarterback. He certainly has the arm strength to throw the deep ball. He has pretty decent accuracy on the run. He just needs to be more comfortable throwing the ball more often. If you can get that out of him, he is a true dual threat quarterback that could be a perennial Pro Bowler. His issue is just consistency, and he too often puts his head down and just takes off running instead of looking down the field. So my guess at this point right now is that Russell Wilson has the edge to be the starter to begin the season. However, Russell Wilson has been dealing with a calf injury and has not been practicing, which is giving the edge back over to Justin Fields, who the more reps that he gets, that's going to bode well for him becoming the starting quarterback as well. Quick shout out to James Furpo, D-4200, everybody that is in the house right now. Salute to you guys. Good to see you in the comment section. Appreciate you being here. And guys, if you're brand new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. There's 3 little buttons at the top here. If you're watching this live or if you're watching the replay, you just hit the subscribe button. But hit those 3 little buttons if you're watching me live this morning right now. And hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Guys, we are only, 8 days away? We're 8 days away right now from the first preseason game of the Raiders. If you want to see the live play-by-play, make sure you subscribe because we will be here doing it live. Plus, on the 20th, thanks to superfan Raider Ryan, we have tickets to give away to the August 20th open practice in Las Vegas on August 20th, where you will get to meet me, the Raider D, as well as Raider Nation Hotspot, and we'll be going to the practice together. That giveaway will be tomorrow at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, which is our regular time for Saturday. So we'll be live giving away 2 of those tickets. You're not going to want to miss out on that. So make sure you subscribe, hit that bell notification, and get entered to win those tickets. All right, guys. My opinion right now on the Pittsburgh Steelers, should the Raiders have gotten Russell Wilson for nothing? We could have picked him up for absolutely nothing. Didn't do it. He's a bit of a drama queen. He's a bit of a prima donna. And the Raiders were like, nah, he's not Raiders material. He's a Super Bowl champion quarterback who's had a successful career in the NFL, but his attitude doesn't fit the Raiders, and we passed on him. Could have made a trade for Justin Fields. Rumors were that the Raiders were interested and made an offer, but Justin Fields didn't want to come to the Raiders because Luke Getsy is the offensive coordinator. And to be honest, I don't think Luke Getsy wanted Justin Fields that bad to come to the Raiders. And so he ended up in Pittsburgh. I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers will end up going with Russell Wilson this year. I think they go with Russell Wilson this year and they develop and see what they really got with Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields will be the quarterback of the future over there in Pittsburgh for at least a good 4-year run. I think they're going to give him a contract extension, and they're going to probably try to work that out while sitting him, and that way they get him at a cheaper deal. Let Russell Wilson cook, finish out his career, and see if they can, make a run in the playoffs. So that's my guess right now for who will be the starting quarterback over there in the Pittsburgh Steelers, and more power to them. And if they play the Raiders next year, hope we crush them, whoever their quarterback is. Okay, guys, now I'm going to move over to the Denver Broncos, or as us Raiders fans like to say, the Jonkos. Here's my understanding of what's going on in Denver. Sean Payton is a hard coach to play for if you're a quarterback. He has very high expectations. He considers himself a guru. He has a lot of success in the NFL. He's also had some failures in the NFL, one of them being he has not defeated the Raiders since 2008, even when he was back with Drew Brees and the Saints. Had a hard time against the Raiders. And the Raiders own the Broncos. Over the past 4 years, we have swept them each year, and I believe that that is going to happen again. But that has no bearing on who the starting quarterback is. The competition there in Denver right now is between Jared Stidham. He was a Raider. Good backup quarterback, not starting level quarterback. So they go and they draft Bo Nix, who is a guy that my boy, Raider Nation Hotspot, was very high on and wanted the Raiders to draft. I was not high on him. I think he is a decent quarterback who has potential to be a decent quarterback in the NFL, but he had by no means in all of the game tape that I've seen, all of the stats of looking at Bo Nix, is going to be a superstar in the NFL. Here's why. Under that Oregon Ducks program, and this could just be the limit of their offense and how they run things there, it is a very run-first team, short check-down passes. Over the, 60,000 passes in 30 years of playing for Oregon, it seems like, Bo Nix never had a season of throwing for an average of over 7 yards per pass. That's not going to cut it in the NFL. He is a rookie, and the Broncos are a bad team. I don't believe that Bo Nix will be successful as a rookie if he's thrown into the fire right away. Who is he going to throw the ball to? They have one star player named Patrick Surtain, who is a DB. Fantastic DB. Probably the best in the NFL. But they have no offensive weapons. They have no offense. And that's why I don't think Bo Nix is the starter for week 1. I think Sean Payton is going to go with the guy who is more familiar with his playbook, and that's going to be Jarrett Stidham. Jarrett Stidham's been in the program. He understands the playbook. He can execute the playbook. He has playing time. He has starting playing time. Remember, they benched Russell Wilson the last 2 games, just like the Raiders did with Derek Carr. That gave Jarrett Stidham 2 full games in the regular season. He's a veteran quarterback now. I think he can handle it. I think Sean Payton understands that the Broncos are still a bad team, that they need another 2 or 3 years of drafting and getting out of salary cap hell in order for them to be a better team. So there's no rush right now. I don't think Sean Payton is being rushed by the ownership over there in Denver for them to win. I think they are in rebuild mode. I think the ownership is on board with that. And I 100% believe that Bo Nix was a big reach, but it was a desperation reach. Bo Nix is a second-round, third-round quarterback. Everybody was panicking. Taking 6 quarterbacks off the board within the first 12 picks has never happened. Teams were reaching. Michael Penix Jr. was a huge reach for the Atlanta Falcons. Bo Nix was a huge reach for Denver, but Denver was in panic mode. There was nobody left on the board. So they had to do it because if you don't make a move at quarterback, you're stuck with nothing but Jarrett Stidham, who is a great backup quarterback, but not a starting level quarterback. And so I don't believe Bo Nix is the starter week 1. I think it's going to be Jarrett Stidham for the first half of the season. If they're winning, Stidham keeps the job for the rest of the season. If they can somehow end up with a winning record and maybe squeak in on a wild card run to the playoffs, Stidham will keep that job for this year. I think even if they made the playoffs, they'll lose in the first round. It'll be pretty obvious that Stidham is not the answer. He is a middle-of-the-road quarterback that will have given a full year of Bo Nix sitting, learning the offense, developing, and getting prepared to take over the reins for next year. So my guess right now, God knows best, is that Stidham is the starter in Denver. He wins that quarterback competition for this year and this year only. Bo Nix will be the quarterback next year, and that's when the Broncos will have to decide if he will be the future or not. So now moving on to my favorite team, as you all know, got to put on my Raiders hat now. Because now we're talking about some silver and black football. Now we're talking about some real football. We're talking about a real team with mystique, a real team with history, a real team in the NFL, the Las Vegas Raiders, or as we like to say, the Oakland, Los Angeles, Las Vegas Raiders for all of us Cali boys. Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew, can throw in a sprinkle of an Anthony Brown, right? Anthony Brown, I think, wins the competition for the third-string quarterback. Now, that's not to say that he couldn't win second string. Anthony Brown is one of those guys who is very mobile. He's a true dual-threat quarterback. And he's been looking pretty decent. I heard he did throw an interception. But all of the quarterbacks have thrown an interception when it comes to the offseason so far in all of the practices, OTAs, mini camps, etc. Carter Bradley, which is Gus Bradley's son, I haven't heard a lot about him. To be honest, there's been very little that's come out of the camp. I've heard more about Anthony Brown looking good, obviously being that dual threat quarterback, which adds a little something there, right? Carter Bradley is 6'3", Anthony Brown and Gardner Minshew are 6'1", and Aiden O'Connell is 6'3". So the two more stationary, more traditional quarterbacks is Carter Bradley and Aiden O'Connell. And then you got the two dual threat quarterbacks with Anthony Brown Jr. and Gardner Minshew. The question is really going to come down to Luke Getsy, who's the offensive coordinator. Who does he want to build this offense for? A dual threat mobile guy like a Gardner Minshew or Anthony Brown, or a more traditional stand in the pocket and, quick release and light you up down the field? A gunslinger type of a quarterback. So at this point, my opinion is that Luke Getsy would lean more towards the pocket passer. His offense is set up for that. He gets, the good protection off of the line, plus chip blocks and stuff like that coming off of your two tight end set. That 12-man personnel is going to give you time in the pocket for a pocket quarterback. And so I think that the edge, as far as Luke Getsy is concerned, is probably going to go to Aiden O'Connell. I don't think Carter Bradley makes the team. We're only going to have 3 QBs. Carter Bradley is going to get kicked down to the practice squad and possibly picked up by another team out there. I think Anthony Brown stays on the team. I think Anthony Brown makes that third string quarterback position. Obviously, Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell will be battling it out for 1 and 2. I like both of these options, but I lean more towards Aiden O'Connell. And I lean more towards Aiden O'Connell because I seen real potential in him last year. Aiden O'Connell gives you that explosive offense ability with the wide receivers and tight ends that we have in 2024. I believe that Aiden O'Connell will have an explosive year. I think he'll have a breakout year. He'll definitely have over 3,000 yards if he is the starter for all 17 games. If he stays healthy, doesn't get hurt, and he gets the position, he was on track just with the 11 games that he played last year. Add 6 more, and he's over 3,000 yards. That's a decent second year for a guy coming out of college. I think with the weapons that we have, if you unleash him and let him do what he does best, which is chuck the rock, Aiden O'Connell could end up close to 4,000 or surpassing 4,000 passing yards this year. I think that he could throw for over 30 touchdowns. And we have all of the weapons. That's why you go and you draft a playmaker like a Brock Bowers at 13th overall pick in the first round. You are adding offensive capability to the Raiders. Michael Mayer is a fantastic tight end. I think he's going to have a great career in the NFL as a Raider. Brock Bowers is a better receiver. He's quicker. He's better in his route tree. He has better hands. And he can block. But if we're going to run a lot of 12-man personnel, which we will be running a lot of 12-man personnel, Michael Mayer can help out in any weaknesses the offensive line may have. Now, we do have a surprise offensive lineman, a rookie by the name of DJ Glaze, who had to go in when Thayer Munford had a small injury and had to come out of practice on Tuesday. And DJ Glaze had to go up against Max Crosby. And he manhandled Max Crosby, the best defensive ends in the NFL. Manhandled him. Now, Max did get the better of him on one of the clips that I seen where he would have ended up with a sack or a pressure on the QB. And it was Aiden O'Connell. Aiden O'Connell looks like he would have gotten the ball off, but that pressure may have impacted it a split second earlier, and it's a sack. So DJ Glaze technically gave up a sack during practice. However, all of the other reps against Max Crosby, DJ Glaze was unleashing on him, manhandling him. This kid is long and he is strong. A-Train, I see you, bro. No, you didn't miss too much. We just talked about the kickoff rule earlier, which you can go back and look. Watch the kickoff stuff. An absolute joke last night, and it's going to be a joke all season. Do not like it. I want them to go back to the original kickoff rules and not the ones they even had last year, which everybody was just kicking it out of the end zone, but back to the actual kickoff rules where you actually had kick returns. And then we also talked about the quarterback competition in Pittsburgh, Denver, and now we are talking about it here with the Raiders. So appreciate you being in here, brother. Guys, we got 162 people in here. Let's get those likes up. Hit those three little dots and smash that like button. Let's see if we can get over 200 people in the live this morning. And the only way to do that is through interaction. The algorithm will hate on us because we're the Raiders. You know the algorithm favors the Chiefs. So if you hate the Chiefs, smash the like button. And let's get it rocking and rolling. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the best Raiders content here on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, everywhere that there is social media. We are there, just about everywhere. There's some social media that I'm not on. And let me just check in here real quick. We only have 9 likes on the stream so far. That means I need your guys' support. If you hate the Broncos, if you hate the Chiefs, if you hate the Chargers, if you hate any team other than the Raiders, smash the like button. Hit the 3 little dots up above. That's where you find the thumbs up. Smash those thumbs, and let's get this thing rocking and rolling. Okay, so we've talked about Aiden O'Connell and his upside as a pocket passer. We've talked about who's going to win the third string. I think Anthony Brown wins that. We signed him last year when, Baltimore cut him. He has some upside to him, but he is a very unpolished guy. He's a guy that you could sit back and you could, really polish him up and get him used to the offense, and he could be a viable option in the future. If nothing else, he becomes a trade piece for you to collect some, maybe a 3rd or a 4th round draft pick for him if he can show some stuff in the preseason this year and next year. Then you got somebody that you can trade away in order to grab some value in the draft. Guys, hit that subscribe button if you want to comment. Also, you got to be a subscriber for a minimum of 1 minute. So if you want to drop your comments, your thoughts, you want me to respond to them, you got to hit that subscribe button and smash those like buttons. Let's move on to Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew has had an up and down career. He's never thrown for 30 touchdowns in his career, and he's never thrown for over 4,000 yards. Gardner Minshew is a game manager, mobile quarterback who can move around and he can win you some games. But is Gardner Minshew the end-all, be-all of the Raiders quarterback question? No, I don't believe he is. I believe he is a fantastic guy to have on the team. I believe that in the event that Aiden O'Connell goes down, Gardner Minshew can come in, and even if you're behind, he can help you to come in from behind and win. Eddie, I see you. Big Raiders. Thank you very much for being here and supporting the stream today. 152 people in here. Can we get to 200? Let's get to 200 people in the stream. You got to smash those like buttons. Let's smash the like buttons if you like what you're seeing right now. And also become a member of the stream right here for perks, giveaways, and all types of fun stuff that we got going on. And again, guys, tomorrow's stream, you have to subscribe and hit that bell notification because we have tickets to the August 20th open practice at Allegiant Stadium with the Raiders. You're not going to want to miss out. We're giving away 2 tickets. I myself will be there along with Raider Nation Hotspot, and the OG Pops Hotspot will also be there. So you guys will get to come and hang out with us as well as watch the Raiders practice. And because we have some connections with the Raiders, we may even be able to get you some signed autographs. So no promises on the signed autographs, but we'll do our best to get those done for you so that you can do some meet and greet with the Raiders players. Come and hang out with us August 20th. Those ticket giveaways are going to be tomorrow, 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, live right here on the Raider D podcast. So you do not want to miss out on that. Now, let me know down in the comments below, who is your favorite? Is it AOC or Minshew Mania? Comment in the comments below and let me know, who are you rooting for with the Raiders? Again, I've made my case for Aiden O'Connell several times on this channel. I think that if the Raiders would have had a chance to grab a Jaden Daniels would be a Raider. But there was no option. There was no possibility. I don't think that the Raiders were super high on Michael Penix Jr. I think if Brock Bowers is sitting there at 13 and Michael Penix Jr. is sitting there at 13, I truly believe that the Raiders still would have grabbed Brock Bowers. I don't think that Michael Penix Jr. is a first-round quarterback. Yes, he went to a national championship. Lots of quarterbacks go to national championships who are not starting quarterbacks in the NFL today. The vast majority of them, in fact. J.J. McCarthy, I don't believe is a starting quarterback caliber quarterback in the NFL. I think that his resume is way too small. His repertoire of throws is limited. And I think the Raiders made the right decision, not trying to move up to grab Michael Penix Jr. or J.J. McCarthy or Bo Nix. I think it would have been a waste. I think Atlanta wasted a first-round draft pick. I think they have a 4,000-yard quarterback who can put up 40 touchdowns in a season in Kirk Cousins. You paid a lot of money for him. And then you go and you draft Michael Penix Jr. Instead of adding a weapon for Kirk to throw the ball to, you had fantastic wide receivers still on the board. You had Brock Bowers still on the board, and you grab Michael Penix Jr., who at best case scenario was a second-round draft pick. Atlanta totally dropped the ball there. I'm glad the Raiders did not. I think the Raiders right now have the deepest team in terms of depth. We have star defensive players in Max Crosby, Christian Wilkins, Nate Hobbs. Jack Jones is going to be a star in the NFL. He showed that flash last year. Cannot wait to see him really light stuff up this year, especially with quarterbacks going to be under some pressure, some serious pressure. Malcolm Kuntz is becoming a star in the NFL. We simply need Tyree Wilson to live up to his 7th overall draft pick status. And if he can become the next Chris Jones on that interior of the defensive line. And remember, Chris Jones lines up interior and the outside. He can play defensive end and tackle. This is what we want from Tyree Wilson. We want Tyree Wilson to be that guy. We want him to be a train wrecker in the run game. But we also want him to put pressure and get sacks against the quarterbacks in the passing game. If Tyree Wilson can do that, if he can become the next Chris Jones, which he has the build for, he has the strength for. If he can put it all together this season, we have an all-star lineup in that front four. And then we have depth on that line. So if one of our star players go down, we have a plug-and-play depth piece. And the Raiders have not had that on defense for 20-plus years. We finally got it. The backfield looks fantastic. Jacorian Bennett has made some serious strides in the offseason. Remember, this kid is an absolute speed demon. He's a blazer. So he can make up for any errors with speed. We just don't want to see him making the errors that he made last year. Second year, so far, all reports, he's a different player. Trey Tucker, all reports, he is much improved over last year. And last year, he showed flashes of being a really good wide receiver. A take-off-the-top kind of guy. You add in pieces that we've added to the Raiders with a Brock Bowers, 12-man personnel, and either quarterback, Minshew or Aiden O'Connell, should have more success this year than they had last year in their respective stats. Arguably, the Raiders have more offensive firepower for Gardner Minshew, if he's the starter, than he had last year with Indianapolis. The same can also be said for Aiden O'Connell, and which is why I'm high on Aiden O'Connell's chances of making a Pro Bowl in his second year if he is the full-time starter. Guys, consider this. If Aiden O'Connell, who looks up and models his game after Tom Brady. Now, you can say everything about Tom Brady was a check down artist. That was the Patriot system. It's what Derek Carr could not do because Derek Carr is not fit for that system. Aiden O'Connell is a gunslinger. He wants to chuck the rock down the field. And so he struggled when McDaniels put him in the first game against the Chargers, but then they let him chuck the ball a little bit more once McDaniels was gone and Bo Hardegree took over and AP took over as the head coach. Imagine this. You take Aiden O'Connell with his propensity to chuck the ball down the field, and you got a guy like Brock Bowers who's eating up the middle of the field, Devontae Adams, who is basically uncoverable, Jacoby Myers, the Swiss Army knife of wide receivers, our very own Deebo Samuel, except for without all of the Deebo Samuel injuries and price tag. And Trey Tucker taken off the top of the field. I mean, the Raiders have to have success. Aiden O'Connell, if they unleash him and let him chuck the ball the way that we know he can, the Raiders are going to score a lot of points. My issue is if it's Gardner Minshew, he is more of a game manager, short pass guy because he does not have the arm strength. He does not have the package of passes that you want out of a star starting quarterback. Now, everybody says that the edge obviously is going to go to Gardner Minshew because he's got a $25 million contract. Yes, he does. But only $15 million of that's guaranteed. We can cut him next year and save almost half of that contract. We save $10 million next year. Which tells you that the Raiders don't have a long-term high hopes for Gardner Minshew. He was meant to be a bridge quarterback and a competition quarterback for Aiden O'Connell. And yes, there were other veteran quarterbacks that we could have gotten for cheaper, but they wouldn't have been a real competition for Aiden O'Connell. Gardner Minshew is. And so I think that the play here with the Raiders was very simple. The play was, we want Aiden O'Connell to feel the pressure because we want to see what he can do under pressure. So we're going to bring in a better quarterback. And if Aiden O'Connell cannot handle it, at the very least, we have a guy in Gardner Minshew who can get us to the playoffs, potentially, with all the firepower that we have. This is good for Coach Antonio Pierce, who is in his first year as a full-time head coach, never been a head coach before, never been a defensive coordinator, never been an offensive coordinator. So for us to have a winning record with him solidifies his position, so it's a smart play for Antonio Pierce. It's also a smart play for Tom Telesco, who just got fired from the Chargers. And most GMs do not get a second chance in the NFL. And if they do, there's usually a 2 or 3 year time span until they're back at the helm. If you have a losing organization and you are the GM, you are considered the problem. So when you get a GM position, it is usually a one and done deal. You get one shot. After that, it's over if you don't make it. Tom Telesco got a second shot within a month of being fired from the Chargers. That doesn't happen in the NFL. He needs a winning season. And so he was faced with a terrible decision of having a yet unproven, fully unproven young quarterback in Aiden O'Connell, giving away the farm to move up and grab a rookie quarterback who is unproven, though gets a lot of limelight like a Caleb Williams or a Jaden Daniels. Neither one of those options is good, so he does the best option available. Let me go and get a Gardner Minshew who can win you some games. He's a good game manager. He's not going to make a ton of mistakes, and he's going to get out of the pocket if it breaks down. This is going to help you to win games. This is going to help you to stave off being fired for the second time. So I think Tom Telesco made the right decision in bringing in Gardner Minshew. Antonio Pierce is on board with it. Create that competition. Let's go win some games, get a winning season, get into the playoffs. If you can do that, even though you know long-term Aiden O'Connell is not going to be the answer. He's the starter all year, and he throws for 3,000 yards and 22 touchdowns and 15 interceptions. Not the long-term answer. But Gardner Minshew, if he's the starter and does the same thing, he's not the answer. And so maybe Aiden O'Connell is at that point. Maybe he sat for a year and he's showing out in practice why he needs to be the starter. And next year he gets the job. The Raiders cut Minshew and they go with AOC. Multiple ways that this can play out. I'm very interested to see what's going to happen. What are your guys' thoughts on it? Up for review says, I wish AOC was a better gunslinger than Carr, but he's not. I disagree with that. That point is yet to be proven. Too early to tell. Right? He may be, he may not be. We don't know yet. He needs a full season under his belt, under this new offense, to really see. I do believe Derek Carr, all-time Raiders passing yards record holder, touchdown holder, fourth quarter comeback holder. He has all of those titles in 9 years. I think he was a much better quarterback than people give him credit for. I think if the Raiders had the defense that they have now, he possibly could have won a Super Bowl with us. But he didn't. He's a Saint now, so we've moved on. I do hope that he comes back, signs a one-day deal at the end of his career, and retires as a Raider. I believe that anybody who holds those records with the Raiders deserves to retire as a Raider. Whether you hate Derek Carr or love him, he earned the respect and the right to retire as a Raider, simply because if you look at, the guy had 9 offensive coordinators or something like that. No, I think he had 5 offensive coordinators, 4 head coaches in his time with the Raiders. That's difficult. And he never had a defense because the Raiders wouldn't spend the money. We were always under the cap by tens of millions of dollars each and every single year because Mark Davis would not spend any money because he was trying to move the team. So kind of hard for a guy like that to win when you won't go and get him a team around him to win. Super Bowl champions like the Chiefs, like the Patriots, like the Buccaneers, like the Rams, all had what in common? Great quarterbacks? Yep. What else did they have in common? Top 10 defenses. Every single time they won the Super Bowl. Top 10 defenses. In fact, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat us in 2002 with the number 1 defense in the league and one of the worst offenses. We had the number 1 offense. We went against our old coach and we got spanked. So I think that, yes, Aiden O'Connell was, Derek Carr was a great quarterback. I think that if he had a full team around him, he possibly could have gone for a Super Bowl, especially in 2016. I think in 2016, if he didn't break his leg, the Raiders make a deep run in the playoffs, maybe a Super Bowl. After that, he clearly wasn't the same quarterback for a couple years. Took him a couple years to get over that PTSD of breaking his leg. He was skittish in the pocket, throwing balls away and checkdowns way too often, and that hurt him. But is Aiden O'Connell worse than him or better than him? We don't know yet. Give Aiden O'Connell a full 17-week season with the offensive weapons that we have right now, and we will see. The dude can throw the ball 60 yards down the field with a snap of a wrist and on target. That's very difficult to do. He can do it. But he also has a beautiful touch on the ball. He can throw those back shoulder fades. He's got zip and snap on the ball for those crossing routes, which you need. I believe that he can absolutely do it. And he's a very smart guy. Went to Purdue. Good grades. Smart quarterback. Learns playbooks very quickly. He was able to learn the most complicated playbook in the NFL of Josh McDaniels as a third-string quarterback. He was able to pick it up and run with it. So I think he'll do just fine running with it under this new system with Luke McCaffrey. Or not Luke McCaffrey. Luke Getsy. So we'll see. It's a wait and see situation. I understand where you're at with that up for review, but I would say it's definitely a wait and see, and we'll figure out what he's going to be. Sam Miller with the fire and the thumbs up. Thank you very much, guys. We have 120 people in here and only 19 likes on the live. What are you, a bunch of Kansas City fans? Smash the like button. 3 dots right up here or right up here, wherever the heck it is. If you're watching this live right now. Go smash those like buttons. Let's get to 50 likes right now. We got 120 people in here. Let's smash those like buttons. Get it up to 50. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Go Raiders. Jump back into these comments. Up for review also again says AOC has more accuracy over the middle, but down the field plus 15 yards, no. Yeah, Carr had never had enough weapons or teams, but AOC is a game manager in the NFL. Can't do what he did at Purdue. I disagree. You have to look at the offense he was playing in last year. Last year was a check down over the middle offense. He didn't get to chuck the ball down the field too often. If he can do it at Purdue, why would he not be able to do it here? It's the same thing. Wide receivers are wide receivers. Routes are routes. There's really not that big of a difference. NFL and Purdue runs a pro-style offense. College runs a pro-style offense in almost all of their systems now, unless you're playing at a team like Oregon or Michigan. Most teams run a pro-style offense. That's what they ran in Purdue. I don't see why he would not be able to do that if given the opportunity. And that's why I say it's too early to tell, brother. Too early to tell at this point. I'm not saying he's going to be better than Carr or better than Brady or Favre or Rodgers or any of those. We don't know yet. But we do know this. When he was given the ability to chuck the ball down the field, he did a pretty darn good job of it. Pretty good. I don't see him being a game manager. Gardner Minshew is a game manager. My coffee has gone cold on me, which is depressing and sad. Cold coffee, unless it's an iced coffee, mocha latte special, cold black coffee is not good. Like the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos are like cold black coffee. It's just not good. The Raiders, on the other hand, have the opportunity to be really, really good. 111 people in here, only 28 likes. We got a goal to get that 50 likes, guys. Hit the 3 buttons up top, the 3 little buttons, 3 little dots. If you're watching this live right now, if you're watching the replay later, then you'll just be able to like as per normal. But if you see the 3 dots, then we are live, and that means you got to hit the thumbs up, man. Make sure you subscribe again tomorrow. 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, we will be giving away 2 tickets for free. Doesn't cost you anything. We'll be holding a little competition. You're not going to want to miss out on that. For the August 20th, which is only 18 days away, in Las Vegas, come and watch the Raiders practice, open practice, with me, the Raider D, here at the Raider D Podcast. We'll also be having my boy from Raider Nation Hotspot, Hot Beavers, and his pops, the OG, will also be there as well. So you and another fan will get that. It will be 1 ticket for each fan. So not 2 tickets going to 1 fan. It will be 2 different fans, and you do have to attend. And the tickets, we will all meet together in a group, and we will all enter as a group. I will get us all in. I'm not going to send the ticket to you. Just because I don't want somebody taking it and then selling it. It's got to be an actual subscriber fan that's going to actually meet up with us and come in and watch the practice and get some signatures, hopefully, from the players, get you introduced to some of the players that we have some connections with down there with the team. So you're not going to miss out on that. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell notification so you do not miss us live tomorrow when we do the giveaway. Again, Okay, so this is the last comment I'm going to respond on this issue. He misreads down the field. Rookie is all I got to say about that. Rookie. Rookie, rookie, rookie. Show me one rookie that doesn't miss reads down the field. How was Derek Carr in his rookie year? How many reads did he miss? How many reads does he continue to miss after being in the league for over 10 years? Rookies are going to miss reads. That's just part of being a rookie. It happens. But I will say this, he didn't miss near as many reads down the field as, I don't know, a Justin Fields type of guy, a Bryce Young, right? Those guys missed a ton of reads down the field in their rookie years. So again, it takes time for a quarterback in the NFL, which is the hardest position to play, to become good. Peyton Manning threw 27 interceptions his rookie year. He was the number 1 overall draft pick in his rookie year. 27 interceptions to 23 touchdowns. They were calling Peyton Manning the biggest bust first overall draft pick in the history of the NFL at the end of his rookie career. He missed all kinds of reads. All kinds. Missing reads short, middle, deep. Rookie. That's all you got to say about that. You can't judge a rookie on their rookie year. A better judgment is their second and third year in the NFL. If they cannot make it by the third year, then you know for sure they're not going to make it, right? Second year is a really good test because if you look at Peyton Manning, terrible first year, rookie year, turns it around. They went 3-13 in his rookie year. 3-13. The second year in the NFL, they went 13-3, went to the playoffs. He won a Super Bowl within 5 years. That's the difference. Aiden O'Connell has more weapons. If he gets the opportunity to be the starter full time, and this is why I want this quarterback competition ended as quickly as possible, they need to make a decision fast because we are playing regular season football next month. You don't want your starting quarterback splitting reps at this point in the offseason. At this point in the offseason, you need to make that decision and you need to go with it. If it's going to be Minshew, fine. I support it. If that's what Coach feels, I'm with it. I'm going to be rocking Minshew mania. But if it's Aiden O'Connell, let's go already. Because these guys, whoever it's going to be, they need that first team rep over and over and over and over in order to hit the ground running week 1 against the Chargers in SoFi. Which we have a real problem, even though we have the home field advantage there. There's more Raiders jerseys than Chargers. It's like a home game. Yet we can't win. You need that quarterback to be up to par and ready with that offense. And the only way you get that is with reps. That's why I really I love the fact that they had a quarterback competition, somebody to push him, but you got to make that decision now, right? We play our first game on Saturday. Who is it against again? I know we play the 49ers and the Cowboys the last 2 games. Who's our first game? Let me look real quick. Check back over into the schedule. I forgot who our first preseason game is. Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota Vikings, who we put a big fat 0 up against in the regular season last year. This is going to be a revenge game. You're going to see Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew in this game. They will both play in this game. I suspect they will both play at least 1 full quarter, if not a full half. And I think that this game is going to be the game that decides who the starting quarterback is. I think Aiden O'Connell comes out as the starter. As coaches said, he's earned the right to take that first snap. Comes out as a starter. if he throws 2 touchdowns in the first half, no interceptions, he's your starter. Unless Gardner Minshew comes out in the second half and throws 3. Which, in his entire career, he's only had, well, at least last year, he only had 1 game where he threw 3 touchdowns in a game. Aiden O'Connell threw 4 in a game. So I believe that that's when the decision is going to be made, is next week we're going to see Aiden O'Connell do the same thing he did in last preseason. He's going to ball out. And I think Gardner Minshew will also have a good game. But I think at that point, you got to make the decision. You have to. You got to live with it. You got to ride with it. You got to go with it. Because you got to get your quarterback ready. Up for Review says preseason matters for second and third stringers. Usually. But that's not what Antonio Pierce said. He said everybody's playing. Everybody. Nobody gets the day off. So I'm just going based off of what Coach says. Coach says nobody's getting a day off. Every position is up for competition. Obviously, we know Devontae Adams, Max Crosby, Christian Wilkins. I mean, these guys are superstars, but they're not getting a day off. Up for Review says AP is lying. Okay. We'll see. I haven't seen him lie yet. Everything that he has said as he was the interim head coach last year and coming into this year, I have not seen him lie. Why would he lie? For what reason? He doesn't have to lie. He doesn't have to say everybody's up for competition. Nobody gets a day off. You forget that Antonio Pierce was a player who was an undrafted guy who became a Pro Bowler, Super Bowl captain of the defense, captain of the team, of a Super Bowl champion New York Giants. You forget that that's where he comes from. So he's not one of these coaches that's going to play favorites. Because in his mind, Jacoby Myers, undrafted beast, earned it. And so for him, there is no favoritism as to whether you were drafted first. Just go back and look at Antonio Pierce's statements. I've watched tons of his interviews, and he is let on where his thinking is. You do not know who's going to be a superstar in the NFL. You can't say because somebody was undrafted, they're not even going to make the team. He was undrafted. So many stars in the NFL were undrafted. We had a quarterback in the Super Bowl last year who was Mr. Irrelevant. Means he was the last pick in the draft. Was never supposed to be a starter on that San Francisco 49ers team in Brock Purdy. Now, he's lining up to get a $55 million a year contract. They were saying he probably won't even make the team when he was drafted. Remember, the 49ers moved heaven and earth in order to get Trey Lance. And then they picked up Brock Purdy as we got the last pick in the draft. Don't really know what else to do with it. We'll just grab this Brock Purdy guy. And now he's the starting quarterback of a perennial Super Bowl contending team. So I disagree with you on quite a bit of stuff. Look, I don't know who's all going to start in these preseason games. I'm only going to tell you what Coach Antonio Pierce has said. And Antonio Pierce has said nobody gets a day off. It is a competition for everybody. Every position is in a competition. Perfect example. Dylan Laube has been turning heads and moving up the depth chart. Thayer Munford has been struggling at right tackle against Max Crosby. And DJ Glaze, not expected to be a starter, could end up becoming the starting right tackle of the Las Vegas Raiders week 1. Just go look at the highlights. Go look at what Antonio Pierce has said. Before the offseason, Thayer Munford was a lock at right tackle. May not be a lock. Again, it is a true competition. Antonio Pierce doesn't care what your name is, where you were drafted, or how much money you make. It is the best player who puts out the best performance will be the guys out on the field. With that being said, I do just want to say I appreciate each and every single one of you for spending an hour and 15 minutes with me, the Raider D, right here early morning. I will be back this evening. Also, we will be doing the replay of the live, so if you're catching the replay, I appreciate you. Let's get those likes up, and I will see each and every single one of you guys in the next video. You know how we do this. Raiders